Hello everyone, this is Waldorf.
And this is Statler.
And now we've got the magic and spell adjustments. Magic items,
Right.
special items,
So
adjustments.
we've, part one of this, we kind of did the point changes over, just a synopsis of the point changes of the armies. This is basically some actual rule changes to the magic supplement. And you may remember when they went to gold, they said they wouldn't change the core rules any.
Right.
And they would only make tweaks to the armies occasionally, but they would but they weren't locking the magic supplement. So
Correct. And that's where this comes in.
Yep. So some balance changes, like based on feedback from various tournaments, etc.
All right. So we've got the common items.
So it's a long list.
a
I'm not sure we're
huge,
going
long
to get to
list.
this in a timely manner.
Yes. Legion Standard went down by 10. It's only 10 points now. This is the one that gives you, if you have 4 ranks, you count that extra rank.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you're 10 points less for your standard bearer himself. 10 points less for taking this standard.
Yep.
You've saved yourself 20 points to get the +1 combat res if you have 4 ranks.
Is this 0-3?
Yes. 0-3. But anyway, so you might see this a bit more.
I think it makes it interesting for people who have, not MSU people necessarily, but obviously, but for people who before were searching for points for standards.
Right.
Now they'll be able to afford them theoretically. You put this on some core guys. But yeah, I think you'll see this in core more.
Kingslayer went down by 10 points, but got the tag that only models on foot now. So I can no longer use this on my BSB on his boar, but I didn't.
Oh, we're using it?
Not a lot. Every once in a while I'd slip it in.
Yeah, this is a tough one. It's basically an 8th edition weapon. But it's cheaper, but it's situational. So anything situational is hard to point.
Right.
And hard to take when you have so many few characters.
Essence of Mithril and Destiny's Call both got the same thing, where now they cannot be taken by constructs or models with towering presence.
Right, and Mithril used to just be standard height, right? That was its old limitation,
recall.
I think.
Maybe it was standard.
I think when we looked at this, basically this is actually a buff.
Oh, because now you can take it with large.
Because if you have happen to have a large character in your army, you could take it.
Okay.
So I thought that was, or you mount your guy on a large beastie, you'll be able to take it. So I thought it makes it a buff.
Yeah, but a lot of those be large. Even the large beasties have towering presence.
Yeah, well, not necessarily those type. I meant things like Pegasus and things of that nature.
Well, like the Vermin Swarm have the giant rats.
Yeah.
They're not gigantic. They're just large.
Right,
but they have towering.
But they have towering.
So
but I'm thinking more like the mid-range stuff.
Yeah.
Like the Pegasus and the Eagles and
right.
Things of that nature that get you without having to.
Both those. So I guess the Eagle's large, isn't it?
Yeah.
Peg's not. I don't think.
Yeah.
Is Peg large? Okay, maybe it is. Anyway.
It's not big gribbly. It's just large.
Okay. All right.
So I think those are. I mean, nothing particularly exciting, but I do think you might see the Legion standard some more.
I do
because
think
of this.
So. Correct.
And I think you're going to see some interesting builds with Essence of Mithril and Destiny's Call because of this. You may see the return, like I said, of the guys on medium-sized flying creatures.
All right. Alchemy.
Okay, first path.
The Silver Spike was moved to the spell number 4, which was Molten Copper, and Molten Copper got bumped up to number 6. But the Silver Spike was changed, so it's +1 strength, but now it's D3 wounds only to the first hit, just like a bolt thrower. Because it used to be the multi-hit all the way down the line.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. It's a good change to it. It makes it much better, in my opinion, of course, because now it's strength 4 against everyone.
Right.
AP 10, strength 4 against everyone.
It's better against most things, but it's worse against monstrous troops.
Ogres and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we'll have to see. Overall, I think it's a good change if you take Alchemy.
Yeah, I think it makes it more general. Cosmetology.
And there you go. The offensive skill buff was up by 1 and down by 1. for the debuff. That's it. And the what else? Unity in Divergence.
Well, I think that's a big change to that spell.
It is.
You know, a
2
one,
offensive skill is much bigger than 1.
I mean, 2's off. Usually going to mean you know, could actually mean a 5 to be hit on a number. I'm sorry, could guarantee you a 3 to hit. I'm going bleh,
Right.
on most units. So I think that's a big big bonus because it's an easy cast spell too.
Okay. And the Unity in Divergence, like I said, casting went down went from a 10 to a 1.
Right. To a 9.
To a 9. 10 to a 9.
1 would be a real cat.
1 would be really nice.
Divination.
Yeah. Portent of Doom went up to 24 inches, and the casting cost went down to 8. It's a spell you never saw, well, very rarely saw used. This is the one that gives you the permanent minus based on the number of characters in your unit.
Yeah.
So, the two differences, the range and the casting value, might see this cast a bit more.
You may, but you're fighting.
There's too many other good stuff in that.
Yes. Yeah, that are tough.
Yep, I agree.
It's hard to make them all equal. You know.
Brings us to Druidism.
Yes.
The Oaken Throne is now going to be changed to apply, if one caster does it, it applies to all casters in your army.
Right.
The change.
That's a good change instead of having to cast it on each guy.
It's a good change, but the whole Oaken Throne mechanic.
Yes. I like to call it the 8th edition mechanic.
The 8th edition mechanic.
Yes.
Of the Oaken Throne itself, where you cast a spell to help your other spells.
I hate this thing.
Just needs to go away.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Anyway, I don't know.
You already have decent casting levels on most of the spells. Then you got to throw dice at this thing.
Correct.
You know, it's a clunky mechanic. Yeah.
It's a clunky mechanic, and
it'd be just so easy. Just give 2 casting values.
Yeah, for all the spells.
Yeah.
And this also annoys me because it's definitely an 8th edition holdout.
Yes.
It's a Games Workshop holdout that they won't just get rid of.
Yep. And that's how I feel about it.
And for that reason alone, it really shocks me that they haven't gotten rid of it.
Right, because it's so clear.
Correct.
But just how it affects how this. Yeah. It's the reason I always hesitate taking this path.
Right. It's not named the same as the old one. That's why.
Yeah. Great. If it walks like a duck. If it talks like a duck.
What are you saying?
I'm saying evocation.
You're saying it quacks?
Yeah.
Okay. What do we got? Touch of the Reaper.
Yeah.
The boosted version's down to 18. Good change.
Yeah.
I don't like the
24 was a bit much for sniping.
I don't like the snipe spells. And the Dance Macabre.
The boosted version.
Yeah. The bubble versions decreased to 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see that much?
Minor change? No, I don't see that taking a lot.
I mean, gives your army a little bit of get up and go.
I mean, it's usually like I said, the sniper stuff, and
yeah. Or you're fighting against other things.
Too many other good things.
Yeah,
in the path.
I think that's the problem. Yeah. Occultism.
Yes. Remove move direct and damage from the non-boosted version. That's a decent change. Just makes it more useful.
Oh, I think it's a really good change. Now you're zapping people when you're in combat.
And the Breath of Corruption went up by at least half of what it should have. Should have gone up at least double this, a point apiece. But yeah, I live in terror of this spell.
It's a tough one.
I play Aquitaine. It's not. I mean, that's why.
yeah. I said it's a tough one.
Right. So anyway,
it also depends on the composition of the army.
Correct.
Yeah.
So here's a big change.
Pyromancy.
Yeah, they got rid of your spell.
Yes, they did.
The Cascading Fire Cloak. And now Cascading Fire becomes a cast on a 5 with a 24-inch range or 8 at a 12-inch range.
Yep.
It's a hex that lasts a turn. The target suffers -X to their defense and agility on boosted, where X is equal to the affected model's armor value.
Yep.
And it moved to spell 5. this makes pyromancy a huge choice for me and my orcs.
I mean, I always liked pyromancy. I always thought the limitation, it was all just zapping people, except,
Right.
and it had one of the best buff spells in the game. But to be effective with it, you usually want to have a good army spell.
Right.
And a lot of people don't have a good debuff army spell. But with this, you don't need to have that buff army spell. And now you have two really good
Right.
debuff abilities. So, yeah.
It's a really good spell.
I think this is a really good spell.
I like this a lot.
I think that casting value is going to get modified at some point, though.
Think it's going to go up?
Yeah, I think so.
And of course, to make room for that, the Scorching Salvo moved to spell 2, which gave this the spell, puts this in the spell 5 slot.
Right. At least you have to have a master to field this thing.
Yeah, well, which means you don't need a master anymore to do Scorching Salvo.
That's true.
Which also improves that one.
Yep.
Just by that one change.
But man, that's a good spell for a 5.
It is. Here's my
Shamanism?
path, Shamanism.
Yeah, still a very popular path for me.
Savage Fury picked up 6 inches of range.
Okay.
Yeah, actually picked up 9. I don't know, 9 inches of range for the unboosted, 6 for the boosted. Anyway, not a. It's a good change, but not enough to make me take that spell over everything else that's in this
That's
path.
the problem. It's too situational for how you use it, either on your opponent or yourself,
Right.
for what you get, and there's just too many other things you want. Like this next spell.
Break the Spirit is really, really good. The unboosted now, instead of 8, costs 9 to cast.
I'm kind of disappointed that they raised the casting cost on this. I just wish they would.
It deserved it.
Well, because how it's interpreted, right? That if it was just a one-time thing, instead of every time you touch a piece of terrain.
Oh, that's not an interpretation. That's a intentional thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what makes it so ridiculous. Right. It's like, oh, he's behind a wall in the woods in a field.
And I'm on a hill, and he's got to come across the woods, over the fence, and up the hill to get.
Yeah, he's not going to have anybody left.
Right.
But, and that's just a bit much, it seems to me.
If they would have lowered the cost and just put this down to a single terrain test, if you do that, it's fine.
Yeah,
I agree.
A fine spell because it gets the other ability also.
It's really good. Even still.
It's like, you're in terrain. I'm going to cast this on you.
You're not
dare
charging.
You to charge out with your WDG guys.
You lose a third of your unit twice.
Yeah.
No.
Or 3 times.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway. Okay. So, Thaumaturgy.
Thaumaturgy? Yep.
Thaumaturgy?
Tom?
Speaking in tongues.
Yes.
This is incredible. Casting value decreased to 1 to 7. Again, it's fighting with so many other things in the path that it's not taken a ton. Right. But to be able to prevent somebody from using either Commanding Presence or Rally Around the Flag is a really good spell for 9, for 7.
I'm shocked people don't take this thing.
Right. I think it's very good.
Because that's one of the challenges. It's a feature in the game.
The feature?
As a software person would say, is with BSBs being universal now and re-rolling everything, it makes such a big difference. And being able to turn that off, and there's a few things to do that in the game, but not many, to me is a big deal.
I think so. So I think you might see that a little bit more.
Yep. Witchcraft.
Raven's Wing is decreased.
You have to say it with a bit of a, push on,
Anyway, the range is decreased to 18, which makes that less useful. Witchcraft is a tough path to take because you don't have anything offensive.
Well, it's all about you and all about them, and it's not about killing things. It's about killing things with your units that are helped or their units that are hindered.
Right.
Yeah.
I
think it's one of the more powerful ones, though.
Bewitching Glare has been changed now to be, it's only an 18-inch range, but melee attacks against the target must re-roll to fail. Basically, it's a fail to wound. It's a fail to wound spell. I mean, it's a re-roll to wound spell now.
Yep.
Casting on an 8, 12 if you wanted to do it to shooting as well.
Yeah, I think the 8 is just a fantastic spell. Re-rolling the wound is just such a...
It's such a bonus.
Correct.
Agreed.
Not many people can get, and being able to get it is a big... The shooting is actually really good, but 12's a hard cast.
12's a hard cast, but if you're using... If I
But if I see a guy
you're-
on a dragon and I got a lot of war machines, it's like
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going for it.
Or if you're Vermin Swarm and you've got a big unit in front of you and you want to
Yep.
unleash those catapults on it,
Yep.
yeah, fine. I'll take the reroll to wound on
Yeah.
30 shots.
Yep. Absolutely.
So anyway, so that's going to do it for that. Not a huge changes, but one change in each path.
I thought it was quite substantial. I think there's a lot more changes than we had the last time. At least it seems like it.
Seems like it, but I'm not sure.
But yeah, interested they move things around and they've gotten, in my mind, they've gotten rid of a couple of spells that were worthless or ones that were somewhat worthless. At least make you think about it a little bit.
Right.
So I like I generally like all the changes.
The old Bewitching Glare that just gave your shooting, gave your shooting battle focus was, like you said, kind of close to useless. But,
yes. Compared to everything else.
Never taken.
In the path.
Right. But all right.
Absolutely. So yeah. So I guess I have to wait for them to print new modification cards and order those now.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'll just have to change my cards.
Yes, there you
Makes it much easier for me.
That's true.
All right. Well, that's going to do it.
Till next time.
Thanks for listening.